Good evening, St. Louis, and welcome into the Billikens Social Postgame right here on the Chaifetz Arena baseline. We are live after another incredible St. Louis game. This one for the Arch Baron Cup against arch rivals Dayton. They come in, the Dayton Flyers, that is, on a 3-game losing streak. The Billikens, of course, they've won 14 straight. They're the hottest team in the nation. Everyone's talking about them. This week's been all Billikens. What are they going to do? What are they going to show up and do when everyone in America's talking about them? Just take belt to ass against their biggest rival, a team that has beaten them up over the last few years, and the Billikens absolutely take it to him. A historic victory for the Billikens, not their biggest one ever, over the Dayton Flyers, 102-71, a 31-point victory, not far away from their biggest victory ever. Back in 94-95, they won this game by 43 points. This is their biggest win in the Arch Baron Cup since a 29-point victory back in the 12-13 season. Billikens fans will remember plenty of that 2012-2013 season because that was when the Billikens went 28-7, and they were a 4 seed in the tournament. The highest they got to was 13th. They're 21 coming into this week. They just had an incredible week, 2-0 with the comeback victory on Tuesday, the absolutely dominant victory over Dayton tonight. Where are the Billikens? 21, maybe up to 16. Depends if anybody else loses, but an absolutely huge game for the Billikens, no matter which way you cut it. And here on the Billikens Central Postgame, of course, I'm Matthew Rocky. We'll be joined in progress by Bob Ramsey. He right now is talking to Josh Schertz, and I'm sure that is a fascinating interview after another Billikens win. We'll get into some of the numbers. We'll get into some of the stats. We also have to tell you about our good friends DraftKings Sportsbook, who brings you this postgame, and also our friends at My Home Bank. Check them out, everybody. When you're building a company like we did, or just under a year ago, I should say, we needed a business banking partner, and that's why this Billikens Central Postgame is brought to you by your business banking partners at Home Bank. From business lending to everyday banking, Home Bank has been with us since day one as a trusted partner. Business isn't just about numbers, it's about relationships, and with Home Bank, those relationships make all the difference. Home Bank is the team behind our team at STL Sports Central. Visit myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. That's Home Bank, member FDIC. More than a bank, they're your business partner, and they, of course, bring us our money moment of the game. In a lot of these games, we've gone super early for our money moment of the game. It's hard not to pull that same trigger here. The Billikens up early and often thanks to who? Well, that's Trey Green and his three-point shooting. He ties his career high tonight with 23 points. He goes 7 of 10 from the line. His money moment of the game could have been any of the threes he hit, but we're just going to go early. When he hit his second 3 of the game, he had 6 early points. The Billikens were up, I believe it was it 12-5 right out of the gate against this Dayton team, and they never looked back, literally leading this game from wire to wire. An incredible game by the Billikens. You guys jumped into the chat early and often here as we were setting up this postgame. Corey Land is our first one on. He says, that was fun. Nothing like seeing the walk-ons versus Dayton. No reason Chaifetz couldn't be sold out for every game here and now. Brian Cunnermans, he's lurking behind me. He's the pretty one. Get him back on camera. An incredible game for the Billikens. To your points, I wrote it down here. He goes to the redshirt freshman with 3 minutes and 5 seconds left. This is the biggest rivalry game of the season. Yes, again, Dayton's lost 3 in a row. It doesn't matter. This is the Arch Baron Cup, ladies and gentlemen. You go to the redshirt freshman, Jax Kerr and Cam Hudson with 3:05 left. You go to the walk-ons, Isaac Holmes and Jaden Schertz. Now, those guys do play one of the best zones in the game, but they're the walk-ons for a reason, and they hit the court at 2:31. By the way, last time we were on Tuesday, Deion Brown and Amari McCautry were out early, getting some shots up. Not as much with the shirts off and getting to work tonight, but they're still out early or out late here, getting some shots up here and interacting with a Billikens crowd that is still hanging around after a 31-point victory over Dayton. Just an incredible turnaround for the Billikens in just a few days. Eggplant emoji. Does SLU need to make the most of this awesome season, as Josh Schertz will surely interview with the Power 4 team? The best players will follow him or transfer elsewhere. I don't like your negative tone, eggplant emoji, but you're talking about the realities of college basketball nowadays, and that's fair. Listen, locking them down with a little bit more money wouldn't be a bad move. I don't know if there's anybody in the SLU athletics department who would think that's a bad investment. They got to find the money somewhere. But I mean, right, what he has here, he's got a great team rolling. He's going to lose Robbie Avila this year, but you have Jax Kerr, who's a 7-footer who can hit 3-pointers, who can run that trigger part of their offense. He's got Jax Kerr. He's got a young team going. He just went 6 for 6 in the portal. He's got the coaching staff he wants here set up. There's a lot of reasons for him to stay, but of course, to your point, it's a Power 4 team. It's big money. It's everything that comes with it. He will be tempted this season. There's no doubt about it. The question will be, can the Billikens give him enough to stay? Corey Land says he's not going anywhere, in my opinion. He loves it here. And if anything, I could see him pulling SLU to a power conference. Yeah, apparently it's not going to be the Big East right now. People a little down on that. Apparently the Big East themselves down on the possibility of the Billikens getting in. Huey, 3396 Nash Shirts is not leaving. He's got a core of talent who are still juniors, sophomores to build even further. Yes, Jax Kerr, probably the most talented player on this roster. Amari McCautry, probably right behind him. But there's two guys that you're not seeing at all this year who are redshirt, who are freshmen, who are getting their redshirt this year. That's Luke Lakowski and Badar Diakite. There's no reason you should know about Badar Diakite. They added him late in the transfer process, but Badar Diakite might be the third most talented and highest ceiling player on this entire Billikens roster. Luke Lakowski, I've talked about him before. Mom played sports at WashU. Dad played basketball at WashU. Both of his brothers have played college basketball. I want to say one of his brothers might have played D2, but the other brother definitely played D1. I think he was at Air Force or San Diego State, one of those two. So, I mean, Lakowski is a shooter. Whenever they need a big shooter as a scout team player, Luke Lakowski is the guy. So, to your point, Huey, they have a lot of young talent. There's a lot of chances for them to keep on winning, even after Robbie Avila departs after this season. Also, Deion Brown as well. There's a chance, as Corey said, SLU moves to a power conference and said, yes, again, the Big East stuff might be dead today, but they're going to keep on pushing that. And hoping it gets better. If you guys want to jump into the chat, please do here on the Billikens Central postgame. We'll have Bob Ramsey joining us here in a few minutes for the second half of our postgame presser. He's had a long day, so we might actually keep it rolling after Bob joins us to keep on talking. If you guys want to keep doing that, keep putting your chats, get your questions to Rammer into the chat, and we'll keep this rolling for a little bit longer into the postgame. We got Samuel Howe here who says points covered. Yeah, they did that early in this game. The pregame line was 151.5. They cleared that with 3.5 minutes left. It was an easy Billikens money line or even Billikens spread. It was 11.5, and they really never got inside that 11.5 number or 12 number, I guess I should say. After the first half, they were pretty much outside of it the entire time. Dayton went on a little run there early in the second, but it didn't get close. It was still, again, a more than 12-point lead. So whatever you were putting your money on, if you went over and if you went with the Billikens tonight, you walked away with plenty of extra money for it. Samuel Howe with some blasphemy in the chat says Mizzou's looking for a coach, Rock. They're not looking for a coach yet. And if if SLU came down and stole shirts away from the Billikens, I don't know what I'd be able to do. I have a lot of friends who are Billikens fans. I have a lot of friends who are Mizzou fans. I have a lot of friends who are both. In fact, I think two of the most raucous fans in this building that I know, my good friend Danny and the guy you all know, Michael, they are both diehard Mizzou and Billikens fans. That would be a fascinating back and forth. In my household, my significant other is a Creighton fan, so I'm also kind of dealing with the potential if this SLU team stays really good and goes to the Big East. Life could get very interesting and very tricky for me. Eggplant Emoji says, every coach who leaves has a multi-year contract. The university they go to takes care of that. That was a weak sauce argument for him staying. Listen, Yui had a point up earlier in the chat that he has the multi-year contract. Yeah, listen, buyouts are a thing, but they always find a way to get paid. By hook or by crook, you either take the bigger job, you're fine with giving a little bit of money back, or the boosters find a way to get somebody who has got a big buyout out of the way. Buyouts are a thing, contracts are a thing, but they are obstacles in getting things done. They are not stoppers of getting things done there. I would simply call them obstacles. I don't think SLU gets into a Power 4 conference. Not this year. It's Power 5, by the way, in basketball. The Big East is a power conference in basketball, so there is a fifth one that's available. There's Zach Bovair. Congratulations, Coach. Great game. Zach Bovair with coming by us. He looks happy, and why wouldn't he be? You just took down your biggest rivals by 31 points. One of the biggest numbers in SLU history. Again, back in 94-95, they won by 43, but back in 2012, 2013, they won by 29. Outpacing all of those former Billikens scores. Corey Land, Richard Chaifetz will pay him what he needs to say. Just got to ask the man. He loves St. Louis and he loves basketball. He's been mentioned saying that he would own a team here if the NBA was interested. Of course, that Chaifetz money going into the Giants ownership. My apologies to Dodgers fans there. the Giants ownership. So I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch about an NBA team. But yes, if Schertz is open for it, there wouldn't surprise me if we do see a deal getting done at some point here in the spring of 2025. This was the statement home game on the schedule. We've been discussing it since December. Yeah, Billikens have had this one circled January 30th for the entire season. And you can tell Dayton also would have had this one circled. 3 straight losses for Dayton. This is their first time losing 4 in well over a decade. And the fact that they do it in this ignominious fashion, I don't think anybody at Dayton really expected them to get absolutely boat raced like this. Heck, I didn't expect it to happen this way. I honestly didn't bet anything in the first half because I thought, okay, they'll give the Billikens a game similar to GW did. They'll muck things up. They'll play slow. They have a lot of length. They'll muck this up for the first 10, 12 minutes of this game. And honestly, other than a couple 3 or 4 point runs there by Dayton, at the end of the first half when they went on a 9-2 run and made it a little bit closer, early in the second half when the Billikens turned the ball over like the one time they did in the second half, Dayton got a couple points there, but other than that, they never really made it interesting, and that's probably the most surprising thing tonight. I tell you what is going to be interesting, and that is going to be the Super Bowl. It's coming up, and the best place to put down your wagers on the Super Bowl is going to be with our friends DraftKings Sportsbook, of course, a proud sponsor of this Billikens Central postgame. It's the NFL playoffs, so let's go. It's DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. They make every moment feel bigger when you're watching the game with the app open. In the postseason, the game shifts fast. With DraftKings live betting options, you can stay right in the moment, make every moment matter this NFL postseason with DraftKings. Again, I talked about it on the Randy Carricker show. I'm laddering Travion Henderson, so I'm going to go with 15 yards with $10. As we move up to 20, 30, 40 plus yards, I'm going to lower it from $10 to like $6.54 on my prop bets. And DraftKings, thanks on those prop bets, they have your back with early exit protection. If I lose Travion Henderson in that first half, if you lose a player in your NFL prop, and they go down in the first half, you still get paid in cash. I'm getting my money back. I got about 50 down to win about 130 based on my ladder. With DraftKings, you're covered throughout that entire half. Why would you bet player props anywhere else, everybody? New customers, here's your shot bet, just $5. And if that bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code STL Sports right there on your screen. Code STL Sports. Turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
We are back here at Chaifetz Arena. I will be joined very shortly by Bob Ramsey, the voice of the Billikens. He's finishing up over on the Mighty Mocs with their wonderful broadcast with their 2 legendary voices. And we're going to jump back into the chat and cover some space until we are joined by Rammer here again live on the baseline at Chaifetz Arena after a 31-point rivalry win for the Billikens, 102-71 over Dayton. Trey Green ties his career high with 23. Also, we got some big games from Ishan Sharma. He goes 6 of 8 from the floor, 6 of 8 from deep. He has a massive 18 points for the Billikens. They also get 18 from Quentin Jones. Really a breakout game for Q. We've talked to Schertz the last few weeks about getting him going, and he found a way to get going tonight early and often, and he was a big pacer for this Billikens side. My Cat Piper says, what a win by SLU. I wish they moved to the Big East. Piper, my Cat Piper, a lot of Billikens fans agree with you. I already explained why I do not. It's completely selfish, but I'm just going to keep on rolling with it for my own self-preservation. Ray Beiersdorf jumps into the chat. Glad everyone here is enjoying the show. My first time seeing the Billikens play this year. Exciting team to watch and support. Keep it going, Billikens. I need to get down to a game. Yes, you do. And tonight would have been one heck of a chance to get down to a game, but unfortunately, I don't know how many games are going to be easy to get down to because this Billikens team is the hottest team in St. Louis. I don't know what ticket could be a better get than the Billikens right now. Get down here, Ray Beiersdorf. You saw a great game from the Billikens, but honestly, not a lot of dunks, not a lot of alley-oops. They played it a little cool, played it a little, below the rim today, but it didn't matter because they dominated Dayton. Get here to a game, Ray Beiersdorf. I guarantee you will find yourself watching Kellen Thames slow down one hell of a dunk at some point or another. James Hoffman says, Trey Green, 13 from 20 from 3 over the last 2 games. Better guard him when he crosses half court. It doesn't matter if you guard him when he crosses half court. He's going to go James Harden step back on you, and he's going to create 5 feet of space. I don't care where you pick him up. Trey Green has been absolutely incredible. Back-to-back games with 23 points. He had 23 points earlier in the season as well. That means he's 3 times has set his career high this season of 23 points over and over again. He continues to be dominant from the three-point line. There was a little bit of a lull in the Billikens' three-point shooting when they went on the road early on in the conference schedule. That lull has been nowhere to be found the last few games. Again, Trey Green, he was incredible tonight, but also we cannot discount Ishan Sharma. Trey Green, 7 of 10 from deep. Ishan Sharma in this game, 6 of 8 from deep. An absolutely incredible game from everybody involved. Bob Ramsey joining us here in just a few moments. Mark Few has proven you don't need a power conference to win. Just look at Gonzaga. Yeah, they're the lone team in the WCC who really gets that pub, but they are Gonzaga, and that does usually mean quite a lot. I am going to be joined here by Bob Ramsey. We're going to get him a microphone, and we're going to talk about what was a wild game. We're also going to get Bob Ramsey on camera here as well, so we can see him. There he is. And Rammer, I'm just going to hand you this mic. We're going to pin that on your lapel right there. And
hello, buddy.
We're going to talk about the Billikens winning this game by an incredible, I believe it's fair to say, unexpected 31 points as they blow out Dayton. They lead from tip to the very end. An unbelievable game from the Billikens. Although at this point, I should say some of those that part of that game was pretty believable.
I would tell you that. I believe, I don't know if I get the year right, I think SLU and Dayton first started playing in 1952, something like that. The most points the Bills have ever scored against Dayton.
Oh, that was good. I had it as the second biggest win ever. They beat them by 43 in 94-95, 31 tonight.
That was spoonball, yeah.
And they beat them by 29 in 12-13 when they were a 4 seed in the tournament. They hit a 13. They hit 13 as their highest ranking. They beat them by 29 this year. Cleared them by 31 tonight.
Yeah, and so the most points scored against them, obviously with all the other stats at Chaifetz Arena, in Atlantic 10 play, all those kinds of things. It was, to me, it was a stunning effort. I was late coming over. I talked to Larry Hansgen, the marvelous play-by-play guy. He's been with Dayton 43 years. Really a great guy and a great broadcaster. And he goes, it's stunning. He goes, I saw, preparing for the game, he goes, I saw all the numbers and looked at all the stats, and he goes, this can't be right. This can't be right. And he goes, I've never seen this.
No, you have not. And you're kind of like Gandalf in Lord of the Rings. You're never late. You arrive precisely when you intend to.
Well, then let me try and give you some entertaining stuff, even if I steal it from my radio partner, Earl Austin Jr. So Trey Green hit 7, and then Sharma starts dropping him.
Coming alive,
He said it's like when Sonny gets shot up at the toll booth in The Godfather, and then a guy comes over and kicks him in the head after he's already dead. That was Sharma.
That's perfect.
He kicked Sonny in the head.
That's perfect. And if you're watching this from anything but a Billikens bent, you probably have the feeling I have every time I watch it, where I'm just like, can someone stop this from happening? This doesn't have to happen this way. It doesn't have to happen like this.
Yeah, it was remarkable. One of my other favorite moments, Trey Green, not all the shots. We all love that. Everybody saw that. It's remarkable. But when he put him on, he was guarding Connor, who was literally a foot taller, and ate him up. Yes. Had his lunch.
Yes.
It was
his defense has been over the last just the conference schedule. We were talking about it back in like the Fordham game. You and I and Earl are talking about how he's getting in there and swiping at the ball and getting some steals. But the last 3 or 4 games, it's been one-on-one defensive wins over and over for Trey against guys bigger than him every time.
Well, you'll love this. Coach Schertz talking to us on radio just a few minutes ago, and I didn't know this about Trey. I knew that the Bills in the summer thought his defense was suspect. We got to build it up. Coach challenged him after a couple of poor defensive efforts in November. You've got to be better. If you're going to be on the court, you've got to be better. What I didn't know is when he transferred from Xavier, the word out on him was he won't play defense.
Oh, wow. Okay, and it gets back to everything
you can always get better.
Yep.
And that's what I love about Trey Green. He's always working to get better.
And that kind of goes to, you know, what Shirts is talking about. You saw it on some of the shirts in the warm here. Kaizen, this Japanese idea, and he kind of boils it down to just get better every day. And the fact that Trey Green had that against him, and he fought against that. And it's not that he's passable. It's not that he's just a system guy. He's winning these matchups one-on-one in things you never would have expected him to in July. That's the growth of a team. We talk about the growth of a team from November to January to March. But the growth from July to November, especially with this group, clearly is a huge part of what we're seeing.
Now, you're halfway through the Atlantic 10 schedule undefeated, but you still got to go to Dayton.
Yep.
You still got to go to Loyola. You still got to go to George Mason. So, and that's why today you think, well, you're undefeated. You know, you're now 21-1, blah, blah, not that big of a deal. No, this was a must win.
Yes.
This was a must win because what's coming in February.
Yep, absolutely. A lot of big games. You said away game at Dayton. For me, the thing I can't get over is how big of a deal that last game against George Mason is going to be.
Oh, wow.
Because I mean,
VCU is playing Dayton the same night.
Oh, that's insane.
That scoreboard watching.
That, yeah.
Everybody's going to be fighting for spots in the Atlantic 10 tournament, which could lead to spots in the NCAA tournament. This month of February is going to be wild.
Couple stats I wanted to point out here. Biggest thing for me is Billikens. Fine first half. Obviously, they're playing great.
Yeah.
But they had 11 turnovers in the first half, but the offense was like a 1.3 points per possession. That's incredible. 2 turnovers in the second half, and at one point it was only 1 with like 3 minutes left. That is unbelievable to have that first half. We know Dayton's 3rd in the country at turnover percentage.
Yep.
They're doing their job. They're just not hitting their shots, and SLU is. And they're turning the ball over as well. Dayton had 9 in the first half. They matched it there. But the Billikens just stopped turning the ball over in the second half. It's incredible.
Yeah, and to Dayton's credit, their offensive numbers at the end of the day are all good. They did a good job.
45% from the field, 35% from deep.
Yeah. But they couldn't. But we've learned now. I mean, that was the reputation. But we've learned for sure that creating turnovers is a key element to their game.
Yep.
And after some adjustments at halftime, you shut it down.
There's really only one player this entire season who, based on our expectations, I think hasn't popped the way we expected. That is no longer true. 18 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, only 1 turnover from Quentin Jones. He easily had his best game. His first half was easily his best half, I think, of his season. And I think he might have tapped it off with his next best half in the second half. Quentin was incredible the whole night.
The program loves Quentin Jones. No matter what, it's from day one in practice. Watch Quentin Jones. But Coach Shirts just just agreed with what you said on postgame. He just said it's his best game, and these are the kinds of things we expect from Q.
Yeah, he fills up the scoreboard. He did it in California. He did it at Northern Illinois. I don't know which one of these is bigger, 5 assists and 1 turnover or the 4 steals. But both, and obviously him having a better game from the field. 5 of 7 tonight. He went 2 of 12 earlier this week. I mean, 5 assists, 1 turnover, 4 steals. That's the kind of floor game we've been talking about with a guy like Ishan Sharma. It raises the ceiling.
Yeah, there's no question. And again, referencing my friend Larry Hanskin, the play-by-play voice of Dayton, he was talking about that very same thing when we were talking a moment ago about, okay, you got 3 guys that are really good or 4 guys that are really good. He goes, you look at the stats and then you see it on the floor. It doesn't matter. You go 4 deep, 5 deep, 7 deep, 9 deep. And that's not impossible, but very difficult to deal with.
I think it would have seemed impossible if I would have told you before this game, they're going to score 102 points, and they're going to get 3 from Kellen Thames, 0 from Brady Dunlap, and just if I just gave you those,
I would have said you don't know basketball.
And what is it? What is it from Robbie? And 7 from Robbie. If I would have told you 10 total points from Kellen, Brady, and Robbie, and they score 102, you would have said,
"What is going on?
You're an insane person. Do you need to get checked by the medic?" the fact that they put together that with those players not showing out, it speaks to what Ishan Sharma did. It speaks to what Trey did, and it speaks to really just what this team can put together. Same thing. 63% from the field in the first half, 66 from three. Second half, you think, well, they have to regress towards the mean. 62% from the field and 59% from three to finish the game. 63% from the field and a 61% on 28 attempts from deep. It's just, you think there's going to be a come down, and it's more up.
Rock, it's insane. You start looking at the numbers, and I think at this point in the year, I'll probably start referencing the Atlantic 10 stats because it's more of a closer snapshot.
That's a good point.
Because teams evolve. Sometimes they devolve, but it gives you a better snapshot. So I think on the radio side, I'll probably start making those references, but it's going to get close to 50% from three-point range in Atlantic 10 play. Coming into the game, I think it was 44 or 45% in Atlantic 10 play. You're delighted if you have one player in a season shoots 44%. The whole team is shooting 44% from beyond the arc. It's mind-boggling.
And we got bad Deion Brown back tonight. He was crucial. 13 points all over the rim. The defense that he had on Bennett, the leading scorer for Dayton coming in, he's had some huge games, and they were all over him. 3 of 12 from the field, 9 total points, and Deion Brown had that assignment a lot of the game. Yeah, he really did. And Dayton did a couple things, talking smack, in the media. And then the stunt they tried to pull at the beginning of the game. What about that?
And
you had a better vantage point than me.
It's a mistake. Rather than belabor that, but that was a mistake.
Yes, it was.
It was planned, and it was a mistake. And guys like Deion Brown, they're not playing that.
He immediately came out. Him and Trey, they had a job to do, and they did it. Your lovely wife is waiting for you to go, so I'm gonna let you go right now.
Is she giving me the mean mug?
I think she's giving me the mean mug. Actually, thank you so much, Rammer. Appreciate that. You're the best.
We'll see you next time.
There it is. That is Rammer joining us here on the Billikens Central Postgame. We're gonna let him run away. Now I'm definitely getting mean mugged. That is Bob Ramsey. I'm Matthew Rocchio. This is the Billikens Central Postgame. I don't want you to get an echo, so I'm going to turn off this secondary mic, everybody, and let's get into some of the chat. I just love talking with Rammer. Sorry I couldn't get to your guys' chats. It's hard to break away from a moment when you got the voice of the Billikens. Let's get to some of these chats that I wasn't able to get to before we finish up here. James Hoffman convinced me SLU is in a top 15 team at least. Well, based on the net, they probably will be a top 15 team. I think, again, with 21, probably I think 16 or 17. But if you ask me, they play like a top 15 team. The stats tell you they're top in the nation in 24 categories. Now, yeah, some of those are pretty nitty-gritty categories, but the bottom line is they lead the nation across all different things. Defensively, offensively, they lead the nation in so many different ways. They are, in every way, in my opinion, a top 5 team right now, and that, or top 15 team right now. I shouldn't say top 5, top 15 team right now. Corey Lance says we were up to 18 in the net. That is usually good for a 5 seed in the tournament minimum. CBS has us 5. Joe has us a 70. I was sitting just down the baseline from Rocco Miller, who puts together on Bracketeer, and I asked Rocco kind of where if they win out on this schedule, where are the Billikens at? He said they're at 4 or 5. He says at that point they're going to be compared, if they're 34-1, assuming they went out to the tournament as well. At that point, they're going to be compared with like the best 6 or 7 loss Power 4 team, Power 5 teams, whatever you want to call it. So we're looking at a 4 or 5 seed. Again, they are eligible to play in the St. Louis Regional at Enterprise. Illinois being so highly ranked, they will probably get the St. Louis Regional. Can the Billikens also get it? That's going to be a big question for the Billikens. That'll be one of the biggest things we're looking for when it comes to Selection Sunday. Samuel Howard says, just because you can score 100 sometimes, you should. Here's the thing about the Billikens I wanted to check out here, because the 100-point games just keep happening, and I think that is it the third time, or this is the second time they've hit it in conference play, but that is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the 7th time that SLU has hit the century mark. I know earlier in the season they were setting records for program times. They had hit the century mark. They have obviously hit a record number of times hitting the century mark. twice in the conference schedule alone to score 100 points. Absolutely unbelievable from the Billikens here. I know you guys had a couple questions for Rammer. I couldn't help it. All of the numbers here, it was too good, and I was getting the stink eye, so I had to wrap it up with Rammer. I'm going to wrap it up here as well. This has been a great 30 minutes. Billikens win, 31-point win over the Dayton Flyers. The Billikens will continue. They will be back in action after the weekend. Let me grab that little schedule for you. I've been so up on the Billikens right now. So many numbers, so many stats. And Rammer mentioned I didn't. There was a scuffle before the game. You can go to Grant Salzman, who worked here at STL Sports Central. He was here in the game. He's been covering the post game. If you guys want to check out his Twitter for some quotes from the players or quotes from Coach Schertz, he also had a video of the little pregame scuffle. To his point, that was a mistake that the Dayton Flyers make. They activated guys like Deion Brown. Q has a big game. Sharma has a big game. Trey Green is Trey Green, hitting big three after big three, and the Billikens walk away with another monster victory. They will be on the road on Tuesday, February 3rd. They face off against Davidson, number 21 ranked Billikens. Should be around 16 or 17. We'll see if I'm right there. They face off against Davidson on Tuesday night on CBS Sports Network, where you're just able to watch this game, and then they will be back on Saturday in 8 days on the 7th to face off against LaSalle here at Chaifetz Arena, one of the last 4 games on this schedule. We will be live for both of those games from our home studios on Tuesdays. They're away at Davidson, and then back here right again on the Chaifetz court for our postgame next Saturday evening. This has been the Billikens Central postgame. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors, DraftKings Sportsbook and My Home Bank. Please like, share, and subscribe here on STL Sports Central. We got a lot of Billikens content. If you want to check it out, we have an interview with me. We have an interview with Kellen Thames. Go back to the video tab on STL Sports Central's YouTube page. Watch the Kellen Thames interview. Watch our segment from today where we talked about Billikens, and always like, share, and subscribe us here on the post-game show. Thanks to everyone out there in the chat for jumping in. For Bob Ramsey, I'm Matthew Rocchio. Billikens all over Dayton, 102-71 live from Chaifetz Arena. This has been the Billikens Central postgame. Have a great evening, St. Louis.